Is your body secretly aging faster than your birth certificate says? You might be feeling healthy on the outside, but inside your biological age is accelerating. It could be literally decades older than your chronological age. Today, I'm gonna show you 3 warning signs that your biological age is accelerating and ultimately how to fix them and how to address them. These are some metrics used that the most cutting edge longevity researchers, doctors, and scientists that I know that I'm friends with, from Harvard to the Buck Institute, that they measure. They measure in real life. And these are things that you can ultimately utilize to change and transform the trajectory of your life. The reality is longevity isn't about just looking young. It's about keeping cells young on a very microscopic level, okay? So I'm gonna get into what is happening with our muscle as we age. This is one of the biggest challenges that a lot of people have, is that you're losing muscle faster than you actually think. Sarcopenia actually begins as early as age 30. Some people even earlier, depending on if they're in metabolic syndrome or if they have challenges with obesity or things of that nature. So your muscle mass equals your metabolic reserve. It's the predictor of lifespan. A lot of people don't look at muscle as a longevity organ, but it is one of the most important longevity organs in your entire body, right? Your nervous system, your skeletal system is absolutely critical for longevity. So how can we actually measure this? You can measure this with grip strength. I have right behind me, actually, I bought a pull-up bar. And so what I like to do is there's a test that you can do where you can just hold on to the bar as long as you can. And if you're a woman and you can get to a minute through the dead hang, it's called, then you're in a pretty much average rate as far as your grip strength. If you can get to a minute and a half, you're in beast mode, right? You're really good in respect to your grip strength. If you're a man and you get to a minute and a half with your grip strength, then you're average, right? If you get to 2 minutes with the dead hang, where you're holding onto the bar and you're just, you're hanging there and you can hold on for 2 minutes, then you're in beast mode. Okay, just want to give you kind of a way to measure grip strength just through a bar that you can get at a gym, or you can get one for your doorway or at home or something along those lines. Another thing is gait speed. How fast can you walk? And then the other thing is thigh circumference and visceral circumference around your belly. And so these are really good predictors of all-cause mortality and can really help you understand the health of your musculoskeletal system as well. The mitochondria is the energy power plant that is found inside the muscles. So it is your longevity currency. Okay, so what is the first sign of accelerated aging? Again, it's losing muscle. It starts around 30 years of age. We lose up to 3 to 5% of muscle mass every single decade, and it accelerates after 50, right? The British Journal of Medicine, or British Medical Journal is what it's called, 2018 did a meta-study analysis that they found that the lower your grip strength, it actually predicts premature death better than cholesterol or blood pressure. Let me say that again, that the grip strength, the lower your grip strength is for your age, is a more powerful predictor for death, for premature death, than cholesterol or blood pressure. Why is that? Because muscle is your metabolic armor. It stores glucose, it buffers stress hormones, and protects your mitochondria. So when you lose your muscle, your biological age climbs. Your mitochondria become inefficient, and insulin resistance typically sets in. There's a number of cascading issues that then trigger all of the different hallmarks of aging. And the more you trigger more hallmarks of aging, the more they create this positive feedback loop that creates really, really problematic challenges, turns disease pathways on, etc. Another challenge is that recovery slower, it becomes slower. So, you might have a joint injury, or you may have worked out, and your DOMS, your delayed onset muscle soreness, is so much longer in between periods of working out. So this is just a clinical observation. In practice, I see this all the time, that men and women with normal BMI, but low lean body mass, essentially their energy crashes in the afternoon, they're cold all the time, their labs show rising glucose and triglycerides. It's classic metabolic aging because they've got rhabdomyolysis setting in. Like the rhabdomyolysis is another word for sarcopenia, which is muscle wasting, and your muscles are getting smaller. So how do we deal with this? What can we do to deal with this? So resistance training at least 3 times per week, plus 1 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, or 2 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein consumption daily, can ultimately reverse this trend. This is a very, very powerful strategy. Resistance training. I mean, you got to push yourself. You got to break down those muscles, not to the point where you're getting injured, right? But to the point where you get a good workout. And then when you're consuming that protein, your body will rebuild bigger and better than it was before. So a Cell Metabolism article in 2021 is a study that showed that older adults who lifted weights, this is older adults like 60, 70, 80 years of age, who lifted weights for 12 weeks, rejuvenated mitochondrial gene expression. And literally they could do that to the levels that they saw in 20-year-olds. This is how powerful exercise is. So muscle isn't about vanity. It's about vitality. If you lose it, you lose time here on this earth. So one of the most important things that we can do is to ultimately look at what we can do to maintain muscle mass and continue to work out, do resistance training, and things of that nature. There are a lot of other things that I could share. One little hack that I'll share with you is I take Perfect Aminos, which is a supplement that I take to help me get the protein that I need in a day. And 1 scoop is worth around 20 grams of whey protein because it's so metabolically bioavailable for your body. So sign number 2 is that you're inflamed, right? You got intracellular inflammation, your cells are on fire, but you don't know it. So here's what we're gonna get into here, is that chronic low-grade inflammation, or inflammaging, drives almost every age-related disease inside your body. It often is silent, so there's no pain associated, no fever, no subtle challenges like that. Typically it's fatigue, it's brain fog, you start gaining weight, you can't sleep very well. Those are some of the common signs. Key markers are C-reactive protein, interleukin 6, TNF alpha, and the glycan age, okay? And there's some lifestyles, some really cool things you can do with your oral health, your gut microbiome, overcoming dysbiosis in your body, are all like things that you can do to create major transformations. So this second sign of accelerated aging, again, is inflammation. You can't feel the inflammation, but your biology can, right? Cells literally rust. It's a rusting process. That's the analogy that I would use for inflammation. Chronic inflammation is what researchers are now calling inflammaging, and it's the silent accelerant behind cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and even skin aging, okay? A 2020 Nature Medicine review confirmed that persistent inflammation accelerates biological aging across all the different biological clocks, right? From telomeres to methylation, biological markers. It's like running your engine with a tiny fire under the hood. Nothing explodes today, but over the years, things corrode and it gets worse and worse, right? So you might notice small cues like joint stiffness or afternoon crashes, mood dips, or waking up feeling, not really refreshed. These are inflammatory signals, okay? So clinically, I often see clients, what I call health participants, my word for patients, with perfect blood sugar, but elevated CRP or glycan age or immuno age scores. And that's proof that their immune system and their body is aging faster than the rest of them. So how do you fix this? What can we do? I obviously take an N of 1 approach, a very customized approach to this. But the fastest way to lower inflammation is to target the inputs that need your support the most. So we can ultimately look at the basics, right? Remove ultra-processed foods. There is a British Medical Journal review that linked 32 chronic conditions to ultra-processed foods. 32 chronic conditions, Alzheimer's, heart disease, cancer, the list goes on, right? We also want to look at prioritizing omega-3 and polyphenols and fermented foods. In Cell 2021, a research study was done to reduce inflammation through the cytokines that are elevated through the consumption of these foods, right? And the consumption of healthy fatty acids and getting rid of the vegetable oils, the trans fats, the conventional butters versus grass-fed butters, the things that are high in omega-6 versus the things that are healthy for you and high in omega-3. Cell 2021, again, showed in this research article that it reduced inflammatory cytokines by 30 to 40%. That's how powerful diet is, right? It just drives me nuts that during COVID that we had massive disinformation campaigns around stuff that would literally save people's lives. How diet and vitamin D and all of these different things, exercise can boost immune system function and help you prevent from getting certain viral challenges and overloads, right? It's unbelievable what ended up happening during that time. But thank God we're not in that time anymore, and I can share with you openly about really powerful things that will make a massive difference in your health and in your life. So you also don't want to ignore your mouth, okay? My dentist is Dr. Jerry Curatola. He wrote the book, The Mouth-Body Connection. He talks about the oral microbiome being one of the most overlooked drivers of systemic inflammation. And it could not be, it's absolutely true. And one of the things that he's developed is a toothpaste called Revitin. And so you can check that out, Revitin, okay, Revitin. And it's a kind of prebiotic, probiotic toothpaste that actually builds the microbiome of your mouth without giving you all of the toxins that are inside of the traditional toothpaste that destroy the oral microbiome and actually increase inflammation in your mouth. But there's a lot of research around the oral microbiome and the root canals that you've done and cancer. Typically women that have had root canals in the same side as the breast that ends up getting cancer, which is really interesting to understand. So we definitely know that the mouth festers bacteria. It can be a factory for toxins, biotoxins in your body because of gum disease and unfortunately a lot of the practices that dentists use today, including the use of mercury. So if you have mercury amalgam fillings like I think I had like 8 in my mouth, you may want to go to IAOMT.org. That's the International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology, IAOMT.org. And you can find a dentist that can properly remove that from your body, and then find a doctor that can help you chelate, which means get rid of the heavy metals out of your body as well. So you don't, again, feel inflammation, but you can feel its essentially absence. When you get rid of inflammation, you get a clearer brain, you get a happier, more lighter mood, and you're ultimately gonna be able to sleep better and function at a higher level. So that is sign number 2. Sign number 3 is your recovery is slower, okay? So you typically have declining HRV, poor sleep, prolonged soreness, biological stress overload. It's linked to mitochondrial decline and hormone dysregulation. Your heart rate variability and sleep quality correlate directly to longevity and disease, okay? So again, this third sign is that you're not bouncing back. You're not getting to a place where you're feeling like you're recovering. And maybe it's the workouts that you feel once you felt energized by them now wipe you out for days. Or one night of bad sleep wrecks you in respect to your focus and your performance and your creativity for days or weeks. That's not aging. It's literally your biology running on fumes. It's something that you should be noticing and something that you should be aware of, being in a state of awareness around. So studies in Nature Aging in 2022 showed that the mitochondrial resilience, which is the ability to rebound after stress, is a direct predictor of lifespan, okay? Mitochondrial resistance is a direct predictor of lifespan. Heart rate variability or heart rate or HRV is your daily window into recovery. So in 2021, Frontiers of Cardiovascular Medicine did a study where higher HRV was linked to lower all-cause mortality and slower epigenetic aging, which is extremely exciting. And now you can use, I don't have my Oura ring on here, but there's all these different types of biofeedback rings that you can use now. And you can look at your heart rate variability. I love my Polar Band. I use it every morning with an app called Elite HRV, and you can do some breathing exercises and you can see where your HRV is and then where it can get to. My HRV, when I started, was around 50 to 60. And now it's anywhere between 80 to 120, and I can peak up into 130, 40, 50 range. But most people, like I have a team member that just came onto my team probably 2 months ago. She's so inspired by what we're doing that she's lost now 17 pounds, which is really cool. And she's gotten all this energy, and she's just having this amazing health transformation in her life, but her HRV score is at 10, right? And her resting heart rate at night while she's sleeping is above 85. So that's a concern, but she's working on it, right? I'm teaching her how to increase her HRV. So just so you know, your heart rate variability, the healthier it is, the higher it is, and the unhealthier it is, the lower it is. You want to have a higher HRV that shows your resilience, your emotional resilience, etc. So my clinical observation, working with people one-on-one, a lot of my patients, their low HRV always pairs with elevated cholesterol, cortisol, poor gut health, fragmented sleep. Typically, they're not exercising well, they're not breathing deeply, right? One of the best ways to restore this is through breath, right? I'm gonna get back to that in a second. But once we restore our circadian rhythm, nutritional timing, mitochondrial support, HRV improves. And so does your biological age, because we know that if you increase your HRV, your biological age decreases, okay? So that's what we wanna really go after. So what's the fix to this? Breath exercises, breath work, right? Source app is one of my favorites. Recovery is ultimately a very important part of longevity. So another thing is sleep. You want to sleep before midnight. You want to go to bed earlier. The earlier you go to bed, the better. And the earlier you eat before you go to bed, the better, because the better you sleep. Again, breath work, meditation, just do it for 5 minutes a day. Watch what it does. Do it before bed. Watch what it does to your deep sleep scores if you track it. It lowers cholesterol and cortisol just by controlling your sympathetic function and getting more into parasympathetic function through breath. And that is one of the best things to improve heart rate variability. Another thing that you can do from a supplement perspective is coenzyme Q10, magnesium, as well as molecular hydrogen, which I have right behind me. I've been breathing in molecular hydrogen all day, actually. Every time I'm sitting down, I'm breathing it in, and it's been something that has been really powerful for the increase in my heart rate variability. So ultimately, each one of these things have been shown to enhance mitochondrial recovery in clinical trials, and therefore increases your heart rate variability. So it's not how hard you push, it's how well you repair. And so we want to repair well, and we want to repair in a way that is very intelligent. There's a lot more that I could talk about that. Number 5 point that I want to get into is a lot of the kind of fixes, right? How do we reverse biological age? What can we actually do? So if any of these three resonate with you, the solution isn't just, super complex. It's not complicated. It's ultimately cellular. It's at a cellular level that we need to look. So we need to build and preserve muscle, right? We talked about that. You do that from lifting, you do that from moving, you do that through eating protein. and eating enough protein. And we talked about resistance training, the importance of both men and women resistance training. And you can do it different ways. My wife has gained muscle just through apps and YouTube videos, and she doesn't like to work out the way I do, but she uses her own body weight to work out, still gives her a really good stimulus to her muscles, which, break them down to build them up. And again, you want to eat enough protein. And we're talking about 1 gram per pound of body weight, whether you're a male or a female. I'm talking about healthy protein, by the way. I'm not talking about janky protein, toxic protein, conventional protein. I'm talking about grass-fed whey protein. I'm talking about, amino acid supplements. I'm talking about healthy animal protein. And if you're vegan, vegetarian, that just focus on the amino acid supplements, as well as the healthy proteins that you can get from like hemp protein and beans and things of that nature. So ultimately, these are really good sources of protein that will help to drive your ability to build muscle. I was last year 165 pounds. Right now I'm around 180 pounds. So I have gained 15 pounds in probably a year and a little bit over a year, to be honest with you. So probably a year and 3 months, I've gained that weight, which is great. So the second thing we talked about is calming inflammation. So you got to eat real food to calm inflammation. You got to protect your gut and upgrade your microbiome, and as well as manage hidden stressors. Right? You should really look at managing those hidden stressors. And then we want to optimize recovery, right? Prioritize sleep, prioritize mitochondrial repair. Biophotomodulation can help. You can get into saunas. You can take the supplements that we talked about, right? These 3 levers control the majority of your biological aging variances and ultimately your genetics and how they are, how they are expressed. Here's a scientific note for you. In 2023, Nature Aging, in their analysis of over 40,000 methylation profiles, they found that inflammation, mitochondrial efficiency, and muscle function it literally explained nearly 80% of the biological age acceleration. So you want to talk about your biggest bang for the buck, you got to follow those strategies that we just shared, that I just shared. So you can't really buy longevity, right? But you can build it. And it's important that you follow the systems in order to do so. So here's where we're going to get into integration. I want to talk to you about how you can track your aging rate. This is really how you can quantify your progress, track grip strength, lean body mass. You can do that through like a DEXA for an in-body. You can check your CRP levels, your homocysteine for inflammation. You can monitor your HRV, your sleep scores for recovery. And look, there's other things you can do like biological ages tests like True Age or Glycan Age every 6 to 12 months. I do them every month actually. And I'm just seeing my biological age continue to decrease. So you'll see these metrics move when you start integrating these strategies that we talked about. All of these methylation biomarkers and lab tests will typically improve. And a lot of the other, markers will follow as well. So what you measure and what gets measured and what you integrate from that measurement will help you ultimately get younger. All right, so here's the call to action. Which of these signs show up in your life right now? Don't ignore them. They're probably early warning signs that you have. There's maybe a oil light going off in your car, if you would. And this is the goal that I would have for you today, is to lift something heavy, to eat something colorful, and to protect your sleep like your life depended on it, because it does. Sleep is so important. So I'd love for you to subscribe. Join me next week on new information that I'm sharing on how you can reverse your biological age through labs, through lifestyles, and how you can upgrade to high performance. Remember, it's never too late to get younger. Go ahead, click that subscribe button, the bell button. I would love for you to be able to get access to more information that we have for you. And if you love this video, you feel like it's a life-saving, transformative video, please send this to your friends and family. So here are the key takeaways. Again, aging fast isn't fate, it's feedback, okay? Once you know the signs, you can ultimately rewrite the story of your health and vitality. And I'm very ultimately excited to see what happens for you and your loved ones. Thank you so much, and I look forward to adding a ton of value to you in future videos and podcasts to come. Thank you so much.